Exactly as reported. A Degree 6 revolt, population equivalent to the Duros uprising on Zilior. Subjects occupy a moderate radius of jungle. Good. Good. Welcome, apprentice. Your timing couldn't be better. I am Lord Drow. When the Empire encounters resistance on its conquered worlds, they call me. I'm here to end the slave uprising on Dромунд-Кааса.
Welcome to the Imperial capital, my lord.
Just the right tone of obedience. You'll be an excellent asset here. Situation is this. A Sith Lord was constructing a colossal statue of himself in the jungle. His slaves revolted and armed themselves. The Colossus remains unfinished, and well-armed slaves now control the jungle. An embarrassment for the Empire, but an opportunity for me.
What can these renegade slaves possibly provide you?
Test subjects, of course. A means of perfecting my techniques. I'm testing a toxic weapon, a poison called Quell. Its victims experience a prolonged state of agonizing pain before finally dying. The victims' allies are so horrified by Quell's effects, they lose their wills to resist. At least that's what I intend to prove.
What a disturbing experiment. You're quite the sadist, Lord Drow.
Please, there's no need for flattery. I need someone to introduce a controlled amount of Quell into the slave's water supply, so that I can determine the proper dosage. Work is dangerous, there will be armed slaves everywhere, but your success will be well rewarded. What do you say?
Anything for a fellow Sith.
Superb. Then let's get started. My assistant, Sergeant Slerin, will recommend the correct dosage of Quell and give you a supply. See him at the research tent.
If I know Lord Drow's tastes, which unfortunately I do, he sent you for the Quell toxin.
I'm helping him put down the slave revolt.
Do you truly understand what he's asked you to do? What if I told you this experiment is pointless? That past studies have shown increased suffering has no impact on the speed of surrender? This has nothing to do with accelerating the end of a rebellion. Lord Drow simply takes perverse thrill in gratuitous suffering.
I see no problem here.
It's a matter of efficiency. There's no good reason why our mission here must be prolonged. I want this assignment over with. The faster this rebellion ends, the faster I'll be reassigned to more important work. Serving Lord Drow's bloodlust has stunted my career. If not for his inefficiency, I'd be a captain by now.
Your ego is overinflated.
I know my potential, just as I know who's holding me back from achieving it. Lord Drow's dosage of Quell toxin will have slaves writhing in agony for pointless weeks, during which this area will remain volatile. I've prepared a dose that will kill the slaves efficiently, which is better for the Empire and for me. Will you deliver my dosage instead?
I want these renegade slaves to pay for disobeying the Empire.
You're not merely prolonging the slaves' agony, but my own as well. Committed to your work, aren't you? Very well. Take the Quell toxin and inject it into the slave camp's water filtration systems. See Lord Drow for your payment when you're done.
You delivered the exact results I hoped for. Quell is like an imbibed torture device infesting those rebel slaves. It's exhilarating to see the effects on the survivors who can only stand by and watch helplessly.
All that remains is my payment.
I promised you'd be compensated well, and I stand by my promises. Quell toxin will be a great asset to the Empire. Uprisings will end painfully and decisively. You've earned your reward, my friend. Now go. I have horror and despair to observe and chronicle.
My lord? Look at them out there. They're like animals. Hundreds of slaves with no one to command them and without a thought in their minds as to what to do with their freedom. Like I said, the slaves are animals. But we've noticed strange behavior in the pack. And my superiors want to know more. Some of the slaves are killing each other. We don't know if they're mad or hungry, desperate, or if there's a faction of slaves who've turned on the rest.
I can see how a slave civil war would prove useful.
Exactly what the higher-ups are saying. That the killers could potentially be manipulated. We know that the killings are ritualistic. The murderous slaves come in the night, stab their foes, and paint themselves in blood. If you could investigate, catch them in the act and take them down, maybe you could find a clue to their motives.
The slaves will give up their knowledge to me.
Look for any slave who's turned on his peers. With luck, he'll lead us to answers.
You're not the initiate. You are Sith. You honor us with your presence, mighty lord. Welcome to our prison.
What is this? Are you the one behind the killings?
I am Traga Unvor, leader of the Unchained. I am master of my hatred. When the other slaves broke free, I laughed. Like you, I knew their escape was a delusion, for only Sith possess true freedom.
Some elaboration is required.
I know the Sith code. Freedom comes through power, through victory. I saw a chance to prove myself. I culled weak from strong. I began to kill and to teach. I showed slaves freedom through bloodshed. Now my followers and I are the masters here. And soon, we will become Sith ourselves.
You may have potential, but are you strong in the Force?
My strength is in my fists, but the Force has guided me here. And it has guided you. Now you can spread word of us to the Empire. Your strength is great. With your approval, we shall serve. Carry our message of allegiance to your masters, and we will become the new face of the Empire. We will be champions of the dark side.
The Empire will hear your message.
As it should be. Take this datapad, my plea to the Sith Lords. For now, I am not ready to leave the Colossus. With every kill, I feel my power grow. And there are many slaves who may yet join me. But soon, we will all be ready. We will await word from the Empire.
I wish you the best.
Farewell for now. We return to the shadows.
It's good to see you back. I knew those slaves couldn't hold their own against you. I take it you managed to track down one of the murderers. What's their story? Can we use them?
Here, your answer is on this datapad.
This is madness. They're serious. Slaves who think they can become Sith.
You've got a weak stomach, Ensign.
Apologies. No. You're right, of course. I'll inform Command. I'm not actually authorized to speak with Sith Lords on the blockade. But I'll make sure they know, too. It's been an honor working with you. I hope we meet again.
Hey, my lord, right? Not sure about my propers with you folks. Seeing as how you're already killing slaves and causing a fuss, how'd you like to make a pile of credits?
I have a few moments I can spare.
So Darth Valron is on the Dark Council, and his apprentice, Lord Ket, wants to advance, so he starts building a giant statue to his master. But Lord Ket doesn't want his master to know, so he brings in slaves from off-world. Slaves rebel, and we get this mess.
The slave rebellion I'm familiar with, though I didn't know the specifics.
Here's where it gets complicated. Lord Ket wants to save face, but secretly. He calls in me and my mercs. By the time we get here, the slaves have captured some giant industrial drills, and they're getting ready to bring down the whole giant statue. Our best team goes in with explosives to blow up the drills. Slaves kill every last one. Got a pile of credits for anyone who grabs those explosives, hooks them to a giant drill, then fights off slaves until the explosives detonate.
Finally, someone who will understand, or maybe even assist me in my work. My idiot apprentices got themselves killed during a simple ritual, and they still have the runes I entrusted to them. They just had to summon a dark side beast, a Sith spawn, and bring it to me. I even researched the artifact to bind it. Could you help?
Why would you want to summon a Sith spawn?
You're right. Why would anybody want an incredibly powerful creature of darkness to study? Oh, you'll need to subdue the Sith spawn before the artifact can bind it.
I break beasts' necks in my sleep.
Get the runes from my apprentices' bodies and take them to the archway in the jungle. The artifact is hidden there. It'll guide you. Well, don't just stand there. Go and get my Sith spawn.
Hold your position, please, and keep your weapon holstered. The remotes are scanning you now. You check out. Sorry, my lord. We're on the lookout for anyone with Lord Grathan, and I'm sick of letting him stomp on my people.
My lightsaber is the only authorization I need to pass.
With respect, being Sith doesn't get you a pass here. Not when it's one of your own who's the problem. Look, stick around a minute. I don't know if you're familiar with the situation, but Grathan's a nightmare. The Sith Lord's gone rogue. He's holed up in his estate past the wall. He's got weapons, shields, and a cadre of scientists developing new tech to use against us. Grathan wants respect and authority from the Dark Council, so in true Sith fashion, he turned on his masters to prove his power. As a result, we have to put up with this lunacy. So if you're here to cause Grathan problems anyway, you might help us out.
You have weapons and training. Handle things yourself.
Believe me, I'd like to, but my hands are tied. Here's the story. There are nearly 100 men assigned to this sector, some on the wall, some watching Grathan. 20 are missing. My men. Practically my kids. Grathan stole them, and I want them back.
If your men can't protect themselves, why should I help?
Blessed, we're talking about Imperial soldiers. I don't know what Lord Grathan wants with them. Maybe he's holding them hostage just to demoralize us, who knows? But if you're heading to Grathan's grounds, help them get out. Tell them to report back to their Duchess. That's, what they call me.
Duchess? You'll have to explain that.
You try making it as an officer without getting tagged with a nickname. I've got reports saying that Grathan's been transporting prisoners to another wing of his estate. I don't know if it's my people he's moving, but it's worth checking out. Watch yourself. Grathan doesn't mess around.
Authorization. Authorization. System cannot identify. Please don't go! Please don't go! What's happening? Are you with Lord Grathan? Are you invading? System cannot identify.
I'm here for the people Grathan kidnapped.
I am a soldier. System cannot stop. Reassigning priorities. Operating number 2188697. Please, did the Duchess send you? Please help me.
Your commander sent me to free you, and the others.
We failed to defend ourselves. Grathan's people took us prisoner for experiments. The scientists cut open our heads, put us in droids. Identification model OHK99. They program us for advanced intelligence. Enhanced combat tactics. Now my body's lying dead across the room. I can see it.
Are the rest of the soldiers still alive?
I'm the last. The others have all been converted. They can't talk, can't disobey. But I know they can still think, feel. Please listen. You could disable us all. Send the shutdown command from our central command console. Please. You could put an end to this. Use the command console. I can't go with you, motor and combat systems non-functional. Please, make it stop hurting.
So, I guess I have to thank you for returning my soldiers. My soldiers who've been tormented and put in droid bodies. My soldiers whom I didn't even recognize at first. You brought them back to me.
I did exactly what you asked me to do. I returned them alive.
They're missing their minds. They'll take orders, but they can't think like people anymore. Not your fault, I get that. Blast. But looking at those droids makes me sick.
The military has scientists, resources. Someone should be able to aid them.
The Science Bureau wants them for research. Moff Goran wants them for a special strike team. Whatever's left of their lives won't be pretty. Best thing to hope for is that with time they don't remember what's happened. Hope that their brains shut down completely. past it all. Anyway, you've earned your pay. You've made my superiors very happy. Those men.
Your attitude serves you poorly.
Understood. You won't hear it again. I'll see you around. And anyway, I need to contact these droids' families.